I was thinking about, there was this woman that called the radio show this week, and she was talking about how bad her situation was, that she was a heroin addict. She had been married twice, I think, or she's married to her, she's with her second husband. It's all right, but they're not getting along, whatever that was. And she had 6 children, and all of them don't talk to her, they don't deal with her. Anybody hear that call? You heard it? And she had lost one leg, and she was just out of it, down and out, right? And it was a very, very interesting call. As she was speaking, I was thinking that this woman is one of the most blessed women on earth. As she was speaking. And I'm thinking, wow, how fortunate it is that she's in all of this grief. She said she had 7 kids, I think, but one died. 6, but one died? Something like that, yeah, one died. And so can you imagine your adult kids don't have anything to do with you. Your 2 husbands don't have anything to do with you. You lose, you're a drug addict. Heroin addict, I think she said. And as a result of that, she lost a leg. And she said some other stuff. And I was thinking how fortunate she is, because what happened was, in being down and out like that, she heard the truth. She heard truth, me speaking the truth about she could be fine, that there's a way out of this. And in that, hearing the truth, she accepted a little bit of it. And because of that, she could be healed. And I think about this woman, she's down and out, and she can be healed in the midst of all her pain, because she heard the truth. And I realized that the fact that she is allowing herself to be in the pain and die from it, she will be healed. It reminded me of that guy he had been somewhat like, he had been, as a young person, he was hurt climbing a tree or something. At least in the movie they say he was climbing a tree. And he fell out of the tree, and as a result, he couldn't walk anymore. And he grew up to become an old man that couldn't walk. And so he lived on, had to move about on the ground. And he had heard that Christ was coming. And so, I don't know that he heard that Christ was coming, but he went to try different ways to get healed. And one of the ways was he thought if he could jump in the water, he would be healed. And he kept looking for opportunities to jump in the water. And sometimes he got close to the water, but he never was able to get in there because he was too slow. All the other crippled people were jumping in over him. He had to crawl into the water. And one day, Christ finally showed up, and he was sitting there really out of it, has lost everything. And the guy, Christ said, "What's up?" He like, "Well, I was wounded as a child, and all my life I could not walk." Y'all heard that story? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I couldn't move, I couldn't walk. And then he asked Christ, "Could you help me get into the water?" They said if I could get in this pool, I could be healed. And I can't get to it. I can't make it in time because everybody else keep running in there, getting in my way, and I can never make it. Could you help me? And Christ said, "Do you want to walk?" After the guy was like complaining and murmuring. And Christ was like, "Do you want to walk?" The guy said, "Yeah." And then Christ said, "Okay, get up and walk. Just get up and walk." That lady reminded me of that. And the reason because she is facing her pain. She recognized the truth, and she's facing her pain. And I thought of some of you here is that you won't get up and walk because you won't face your pain. Her pain was many. She was like in grief, not only spiritually, but physically she had pain. And some of you won't walk because you won't face your pain. If a little pain comes, you murmur about it, you get mad about it, you get upset about it, you blame others, and you can't walk because you keep identifying with the pain instead of getting up and walking. A little loneliness come, a little sadness come. Someone say something about you, true or false. Your wife or your husband leave you. Your parents are mean to you. You gossip. You have opportunity to gossip or whatever. You go along with the pain rather than taking the pain, and as a result, you can't be healed. And then you wonder, why can't I be healed? How long will this last? How much longer must I suffer? You don't have to suffer for another minute if you just get up and walk. You won't do it. And it's interesting to see that. You still think that your pain is you. You think your pain is here. You still believe that you are a sinner. Even though God said all your sins have been wiped away. So you're neither sinner nor saint. You still believe that, you still feel guilty about that bank robbery you carried out 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And when you remember the bank robbery, you cry. You get in your head about it, and you communicate with the devil about it, and you still believe it's you. You won't let memories go. I know people who hold on to memories like they happen right now. I know people that sometimes I talk to them, they always bring up memories. I remember this relationship. I remember my kids. I remember this. I'm like, why don't you let these memories go? Why holding on to memories that doesn't exist? If your wife want to leave, okay, bye. But instead of letting her leave, you hold on to memories. I remember when we first started dating, she was so nice to me. She used to invite me over for meals. We would go out and we would laugh. And all that. It's just memory. You hold on to memories like they're real. And as a result, you can't get up and walk. You can't get up and walk because you keep holding on to false stuff. Isn't that amazing? You constantly call yourself Raymond, for example. Hey, Raymond, my friend. He keeps saying he's no good. And I've been telling him for 100 years, stop saying that about yourself. I'm no good. Stop saying that, Raymond. He won't stop. He can't walk. You still remember past friendships. And they don't even exist. They really didn't exist then, but at least they were in the fake part of life. And you still remember, you break up. I know someone that I'm dealing with out there, way out there. They're not in the room, even though a lot of you maybe have the same problem. He and his wife been together 20 years, something like that, 10 to 20 years. They built a home together. They went through a hard time. He finally started a business. The business is working. And so he decided to let his wife go to work. She decided, and according to him, now I don't know, his wife went to work, met some guy, and now she thinks she's in love with the guy. She come home one day and said, I want to leave. I want a divorce. Because she met one guy at work, and she thinks she loved this guy, the guy loved her. And so he was asking me, what should I do? I know what I should do, but what do you think? I'm like, what is there to think about? Let her go. Don't cry over it. Don't beg her to stay. Just say, okay, bye. How soon can you leave? You want the kids? In this situation, the kids don't want to go with her. Because they're older, they like know better. But what's wrong? Why do you hold on to anything? Why don't you get up and walk? Why don't you, I've said over and over again, you're not your memories. You're not your thoughts. You're not your past. You're not your future. You've never committed a sin in your whole life. Except for the heart where you refuse to forgive. Other than that, why don't you just get up and live? You stay home by yourself, and if you don't have any music on or TV on or you're not getting the call, you cry because you think something's wrong. Oh, there's some party going on. I'm not invited. They don't like me anymore. And then you turn the TV on and you keep it on all night to keep you from seeing. Why don't you just get up and walk? It's been done. God is not judging you at all. He doesn't see you the way you see yourself. At all. You see yourself that way. Stop it. Get up and just live your life. The greatest pain is the best pain. The more grief you can feel and go through, the freer you become, because your ego, your big old ego will die, and all those false identities that came with the ego would disappear. You're not your ego. You're not evil. You're not good. Evil lives in you, but you're not the evil. There's no reason not to be free right now, except you won't get up and walk. You love your misery. A nice guy, called the show this week. He was like, oh, I'm dating a married woman. And he like in his early 20s. I'm like, why are you dating a married woman? And she's still married. I'm like, so why are you dating a married woman? Well, she's good to me, Jesse. She treats me good. I'm like, what does she do? She cook, feed me, she cook for me, she clean, she do all kind of. I'm like, that's not being good to you. She says appeasing your ego. She's setting you up. And the day after you get rid of it, all the cooking going to stop and you're going to be cooking. That's not treating you good because somebody takes you out to lunch. It's so unfortunate. Well, I guess it's unfortunate. Let me see if it's unfortunate. It's so amazing that you could be free right now and you won't do it. And so I wish, if the young lady is listening, stay with it. Really. She heard the truth about she could be healed. And she wanted it. You don't really want the truth, because if you did, you would have accepted the truth and be free today. You will stop crying at night when no one else is around. You will stop arguing with people about anything. Do you know there's not one reason on earth to argue or be mad about anything? You don't need to argue. Life is backwards. You've been taught wrong. You've been taught to argue and fight for everything, right? God said, lay down your weapon. I'll fight your battle for you. You've been taught to beg and blame and live in your imagination. Christ said, don't live in you, let every thought go. All thoughts are lies. Your thoughts are not mine, and they're not from you, so why not let them go? Isn't that amazing? You won't let yourself feel pain. The first little emotion that comes, you run to get high. Or you go yell at your husband or your wife. Or you go blame somebody. You won't let yourself even feel pain. How can God save you from something where you keep trying to save yourself from? That you're trying to save yourself from, and let God. How will you ever find love by looking for love? Oh, this young man, another thing he said, I'm like, why you want to marry this? Oh, another guy said he wanted to get married. I'm like, why? He said, because I thought that's the thing you're supposed to do. You're supposed to grow up, becoming a man, get a job, get a wife, have children. I'm like, who taught you that? That's not what you're supposed to do. You should not have a life of supposed to do. That doesn't even make sense. Who laid out the schedule or the platform that you're supposed to follow? I'm like, you're not supposed to follow that. And I said to him, look, everybody you know that's married, they're miserable. You don't even know the happy married people. So are you telling me you're going to fall for the same trick? He's like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know anybody that happy married. But you're dumb if you think, if anybody in the room think this, I'm sorry. You're dumb if you think there is a laid out plan in life that you're supposed to live. You're a group thinker when you think that way, and you suffer just like the group. Don't be afraid to be an individual. Don't be afraid to let the pain be there. Don't be afraid. And everybody has fear. They have like serious fear when there's no reason to be afraid. The spirit of fear is not even from God. Just think about that. You have fear, and it's from the devil, and you think it's from you and God. Isn't that amazing? What a mess. You don't have to be suffering 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years. Just get up and walk. Don't even think about your pain. Don't think about the loneliness. Don't do anything about it when it comes. Because it's ego, it's not even you. That's not you feeling these things. But you don't believe it.